What's up guys, Bob Buskirk here at ThinkComputers, and today we're taking a look at a motherboard from Gigabyte. It is their Z87X-UD3H, and it's pretty much their entry-level board into the Z87 platform. So let's just go ahead and check it out. Taking a look at the box here, of course, most motherboard boxes are full of information. So we have a little picture of the actual motherboard on here, and it lets us know it is for Intel core processors. This supports Intel's 4th generation core processors, and of course, we have the Intel Z87 chipset. Also lets us know it features Gigabyte's Ultra Durable 5 Plus, which is ultra cool, ultra performance, ultra safe, and ultra USB 3 Plus, which of course we're going to go into in our actual review. On the back here, we basically have a full overview of the board. So this is great if you're at the store. You really want to know, what's on the board, everything like that. On the back here, it goes over everything, and also goes over all of your ports on the back and everything like that. So if you're at the store, you can just go ahead and pick up the box and see everything that is on the board. But I know you guys want me to open this, so let's just go ahead and do that. So I'll put it down here and see what is all inside. So we just have this plain white here, as you can see. Lift it up, and we have the motherboard, which we'll take out first, and we'll go over the accessories, and then we'll get back to the motherboard here. So we have just a normal user's guide here, and inside, as we always find, is our drivers and software CD right there. We have our I/O shield, and one nice thing, if you guys can see in the video here, the I/O shield is labeled, which is always good. Some people might not know what connections are what, so it's nice that it is labeled. We have 2 sets of Sata cables, so you have 2 cables in each one of these bags. You have an SLI bridge right here. You can see SLI on the back right there. And we have a multilingual install guidebook. That's it. So this is kind of like again, this is the entry level, so you're not going to have all those cool other accessories. But now let's just go ahead and check out the motherboard. As we take a look at the motherboard here, you can see that it features a matte black PCB, and this is actually fully matte black. A lot of companies claim a black PCB, and it just doesn't look black. This actually really does look black here, and we have some nice silver and blue accents here, and we have some gray accents on the DIMM slots. The board, of course, features the LGA 1150 socket, which is made for Intel's 4th generation Core Haswell processors. The board features an 8+2 phase all digital power design. So that's 8 phases for the CPU and 2 phases for the memory. Power is brought into the board by an 8-pin connector right up here. You can also see all of the black solid caps around the CPU socket, and right here is a single 4-pin fan connector. Of course, that's for that fan that is your exhaust fan on your system. Moving along here, you can see there are 2 CPU fan connectors here. One is the normal CPU fan, and the other one is the CPU optional. They are 4-pin connections, and why you have an optional fan connection for your CPU is a lot of CPU coolers do have 2 fans, so you can connect them both and control them independently. You have 4 DIMM slots here, and of course they are color coded for dual channel operation. You have your clear Cmos switch, so this will clear out your BIOS and set it back to factory defaults. You have a reset switch right here. You have 2 dip switches, and one is to switch between the dual BIOSes, so BIOS 1 or BIOS 2, and the second one is to enable or disable that function. You have a power button right here. You have a debug LED, which of course is great, especially if you are troubleshooting. You may not know what's wrong with your system. That of course is going to display a code, and you can look that up and see what's going on with your system. You have a 3-pin fan connection right here, and you have your 24-pin ATX power connection, as well as your USB 3.0 header. As far as storage goes, you have 8 total SATA 6 gig ports. Now, these 6 black ones right here are controlled by the Z87 chipset, and the 2 gray ones over here are controlled by the Marvel chipset. You also have a SATA power connection right here for power for your PCI Express devices if they need it. And you also have another 4-pin fan connector right there. Along the bottom of the board, you have all of the rest of your headers and connections. So starting over here, you have your front panel connections, and they are labeled as well as color coded. You have another USB 3.0 header. You have 1, 2, 3 USB 2.0 headers. You have your COM port, TPM header, a 4-pin fan connection, as well as your front panel HD audio connection. As far as expansion slots go, you have 1, 2, 3 PCI Express 3.0 X16 slots. Now, the first 2 are controlled by the CPU that you are going to install, and the second one is controlled by the Z87 chipset. Also, the second one is only electrical 4X. You have 1, 2, 3 PCI Express 2.0 X1 slots and a legacy PCI slot. Finally, onto the rear I/O, we have our legacy PS2 port, 1, 2 USB 3.0 ports, DVI and VGA, optical, HDMI display port. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 more USB 3.0 ports, 2 eSATA ports, Gigabit Ethernet, and your audio. So this wraps up our quick unboxing and overview of Gigabyte's Z87X-UD3H motherboard. Make sure you check back very soon on ThinkComputers.org, as we'll have our full written review. And remember guys, if you like our videos, why don't you subscribe? Catch you guys later.